Good morning, friends. I hope you are all fine at your home. And today's topic of consequences of shock therapy. Consequences of shock therapy. Here it is. The shock therapy, I told you yesterday also what do you mean by shock therapy. And the shock therapy administered in the 1990s. In 1990s में शुरू हुआ था when this USSR was disintegrated and did not lead the people into a promised utopia. और इन्होंने जो promise किया था लोगों के साथ, whatever they have promised to the people, that they were not able to fulfill those promises. It brought ruin to the economies. This shock therapy, it was it due from this the economy of USSR was ruined, which means तबाह हो गया, and disaster, and it was a disaster. It was unable, and because 15 new countries were born, and they were unable to pick up the economy. The large state-controlled industrial complexes almost collapsed. Large state industrial complexes, state-controlled. Government जिन industries को control करती थी, they were all collapsed. वो बंद हो गए, टूट गए, बंद हो गए. As about 90% of industries were put for sale to the private individual and companies. Yesterday also I explained you that they were tagged behind before the industries that this industry is going for the sale industry for sale industries. Since the restructuring of was carried out, the market forces are not by government directed industrial policies, it led to the virtual disappearance of entire industries. Government control नहीं कर रही थी अब. Now government was not controlling. People were controlling. And what was the result? The disappearance of entire industries. Disappearance. बिल्कुल खत्म हो गया. सारी disappear हो गए. This was called the largest garbage sale in history. और लोग the people, they were selling on their industries on every scale. कम पैसों में भी उसे बेच रहे थे. And this was called garbage sale in history, largest garbage sale. It could be a question for you in the final examination. What do you know about the largest garbage sale in history of USSR? Largest garbage sale in history. Explain the largest garbage sale in history of USSR. It means that industries were gone, industries were decentralized, and government has no power to control the industries, and industries slowly and steadily disappear. They were large scale, big industries. They were put on sale. Economy was gone. Economy was in doom. They were not able. The economy was unable to cope up with the western part, right? With the capitalism. So that industry was gone. When the industry is gone, it means the economy is absolutely gone. As valuable industries were undervalued and sold in throwaway prices. I told you yesterday they were sold in throwaway prices. बहुत कम दामों में industries को बेच दिया गया. And those industries were very big industries, large industries, steel industries. Right? Now all citizens were given vouchers. All citizens were given vouchers, right, to participate in the sales. सबको वाउचर दिए गए कि पार्टिसिपेट करें सेल के अंदर, but they sold their vouchers in the black market because the the USSR people, they don't have the money. They want to have the money from any source of income. They don't have any income, so they sold their vouchers in black market. It's written over here. Thou all citizens were given vouchers to the participate in the sale. Most citizens sold their vouchers in the black market because they needed the money. They needed the money. Right. Next is here. They needed the money. The value of the ruble was their currency. The value of the ruble, the Russian currency, declined dramatically. इनका जो पैसे का वैल्यू था, उनके रूबल का जो वैल्यू था, बिल्कुल नीचे चला गया, डाउन चला गया. The rate of inflation, inflation का मतलब महंगाई. The rate of inflation was so high that the people lost all their savings. The people lost all their savings. सारे savings खत्म हो गए. Whatever they have saved during the good time, that all were vanished. The collective farming, I told you, the farming people, they were not private people. They don't have their own farming. The all farming were belong to the state government. So they used to collectively they used to farm the land. So the collective farming system disintegrated. That also was disintegrated, leaving people without food and security. People were without food and security. There were no food and security. In USSR, once upon a time, my friends, मेरे दोस्तों, कभी किसी एक जमाने में USSR was having full of go down of food and all, and everyone was very happy for some time, for some years. They were very happy, when they used to think that their food, shelter, clothing, they were met by employment, they were met by the government. But slow and steadily, after the inflation, after the disintegration of USSR, their all savings were vanished and they were penniless. And Russia started to import food. Now Russia was giving food to other countries. Now they have started to import their food. The real GDP of Russia in 1999 was below it was 1989. Because 10 years duration they used to count on whenever GDP is there. In 1999, it was absolutely gone. GDP was gone. Gross domestic product result was gone. The old trading structure broke down. Old trading structure. Trading means vapar structure, on which they used to do the trading. The old trading structure broke down. It khatam ho gaya old trading structure with no alternative in its place. No alternative was there because trading structure was gone, value of ruble was gone, industries were gone, money was gone, savings were gone, no food and security. People were helpless. People were penniless. Rather than they were having a lot of food shortage and security. So what to do then? The alternative was also not there. No alternative was there. Understood? Now, next paragraph. Yeah. The old system The old system of social welfare was systematically destroyed. Social welfare, the welfare of the society, right? The old system of social welfare was systematically destroyed. The withdrawal of government subsidies pushed large section of the people into poverty. Listen to me, in every sentence I'm explaining you. Every sentence. Please don't move here and there. Don't put yourself here and there. Your brain should be your gray matter, your book, and you should be with your book, pen and pencil, whatever it is. Listen to me, right? I'm giving every detail. The old system of social welfare, because communism is depending on social welfare. Communism is depending on social welfare, and it was systematically destroyed because there were lot of pressure was there for the disintegration of Soviet Union, and you know capitalism, Western power economic system, they were creeping into the Soviet Union, right? And they want to switch over to the capitalism and democracy. So what happened? The welfare was systematically, so the welfare system of society was systematically destroyed. The withdrawal of government subsidies pushed large section of the people into poverty. Now they have withdraw the subsidized system. Now the Soviet Union used to give lot of subsidies in every aspect. They want to help their own people, but they don't have the money. They don't have the they don't have enough reserve of money. Now, what happened? They withdraw the subsidy system. And after the subsidy system was withdrawn, the government, by the government, this pushed this pushed people and many sections of the society into poverty. जब उनसे सब्सिडी छीन ली गई तो then actual cost they have to pay, actual cost they have to pay. So then after the subsidy was gone, then when the actual cost they have to pay by the society itself, by the common people. Then what will happen? Better. The last chunk of the member of the society, they were facing poverty in the society. The middle classes were pushed into the periphery of society. Bura Har periphery means penniless. The condition was bad to worse. The condition of society of USSR was going from bad to worse, going to bad to worse. And the academic and intellectual manpower disintegrated. Now, when academic people, intellectual people, learned people, the cream of the society, when they were able, these learned people, doctors, engineers, business class, students, they were feeling alienated. वो society में अलग अलग हो रहे थे. They and lot of disintegration was there in the society. When the intellectual people, they were not taking care in the administration of their own society, that let me tell you one thing, this society has no value. जब पढ़े लिखे लोग अपनी सोसाइटी को तोड़ने पे उतर आते हैं तो वो सोसाइटी कभी बची नहीं रहती. So same happened in USSR also. Intellectual manpower disintegrated or migrated. They migrated to the other section. They migrated to the other part of the country. They migrated to the other countries also. Right? A mafia emerged. It's very important. Mafia, the people who were criminals, basically very short term and layman out word, criminals. Criminals were entering into the business now. The mafia emerged in most of these countries and started controlling many economic activities. Now the people were not controlling, the government was not controlling. Now mafia entered the economic sector. When the mafia is entering the economic sector, these criminals, they want to amass the money from the poor's pocket, right? So and now they started controlling many economic activities. Privatization led to new disparities. Disparities means the differences between rich and poor, between have and have not. This is disparities. So this led to the privatization, led to the new disparities. एक उन्होंने कभी सोचा ही नहीं था रशियन पीपल and I used to say Russian people, or you can say Soviet Sun people, they never thought in their dream that this could happen into their society. वो कभी भी नहीं सोच पाते थे कि कभी ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि they will have no food to eat, no money to purchase, purchasing power will be zero, and moreover, people were absolutely disturbed, and they were going towards from bad to worse. वो bad से लेकर worse की ओर जा रहे थे, because they were facing starvation now. Very clear answer. They were facing starvation now. Privatization led to the new disparities. Post-Soviet states especially Russia, were divided into rich and poor regimes. They were divided, the people were divided into rich and poor, and they were not great, and now there were not great economic inequality between the people. Unlike the earlier system, there was now great economic inequality. Right? Earlier, there were no economic inequality. Everyone was equal before the law. Everyone was equal before the society. Everyone was getting food, clothing, and shelter. Now, Soviet Union was near to the disintegration. Now, this disintegration gave a severe blow to the economic system of the society of USSR. So what happened? There was a now great economic inequality between the people, between the लोगों के अंदर एक economic inequality शुरू हो गई थी, economic insecurity शुरू हो चुकी थी, and the people were now creating a lot of differences between rich and poor. Earlier it was not there. पहले ऐसा नहीं था, कोई rich नहीं था, कोई poor नहीं था, सबको खाना मिलता था, सबको कपड़े में, सबको they were having clothing, they were having shelter given by the government. The government was not taking care of now. Okay, yeah. Now the construction of democratic institution was not given same attention and priority as the demands of economic transformation. Construction of democratic institutions were not given the same attention. They were not taking care of democratic society. They were not taking care of communist society, and the same attention and priority as the demands of economic transformation. Now the people were demanding economic transformation. वो economic security चाहते थे. Democracy तो बाद में आएगी ना. You don't have the money to spend, you don't have the food to eat, you don't have the money to buy the food and other essential things. What the democracy will do there? Democracy is a secondary aspect. First, your economic aspect, economy. If your economy is good, you can think about a better future. Your economy is down, you cannot think. You will think that how to get 3 times meal a day, right? So the constitutions of all these countries were drafted in a hurry, and most including Russia. Now constitution was again they are going to rewrite the constitution of many countries, and even including Russia. They had a strong executive precedent, strong. प्रॉब्लम आ गई यार, ये रिस्टार्ट करना, इधर चला जा, हाँ बंद कर, एंड कर दे, बंद हो गया। हाँ मैंने, हाँ मेरे से बंद हो गया। भाई कहाँ जा रहा है? फिर से शुरू करूँ क्या? So friends, there was a little bit problem of the net over here, and within 4 or 5 minutes, I will put an end of this today's lecture, right? So I was telling you the old system of social welfare was gone. Oh, the old system of social welfare, here it is, old system of social welfare was gone. People were absolutely poor, and the academic intellectual people, they were strengthening, they were going for the migration, and now so the everything was in jeopardy, and jeopardy means chaos. Jeopardy means chaos, and there was now great economic inequality between the people. Now great economic inequality between the people. The construction of democracy, the construction of democratic institution was not given the same attention and priority as the demands of economic transformation. Now I left you over here. The construction of all the countries were drafted in a hurry. Constitution of all the countries were drafted in a hurry, and most, including Russia. So they were rewriting the constitution. They were rewriting the constitution, and there's a strong executive president with the wide possible powers. And everybody look now, for example, they have a little bit democratic setup also, but they are unable to forget the communist regime, because in communist regime the party was very powerful. Here the president is very powerful, and you can say very much that in Russia the Vladimir Putin is very powerful, right? He don't want to shed his powers. वो अपने पार किसी को देना नहीं चाहता, and he is very powerful. And see, Jinping of China, the president, he is very powerful, one man party but very powerful person. So including Russia, had a strong executive president with its widest possible powers that rendered elected parliaments relatively weak. And parliament is becoming weak, but the president is very powerful. Individual person is very powerful. In Central Asia, the president had great powers, and several of them become very authoritarian. For the example, the president of Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, they are very powerful. That's why I'm saying you that here in our country, party is very powerful. In our country, we have got the multi-party system. I'm comparing with these two. That in our country, the democracy is very much powerful. Here the party is very powerful. Okay, during including party, the people are also very powerful. But party has its own prestige. Party has its own prestige. But slow and steadily in Russia, Communist Party was gone, and President Vladimir Putin is very powerful. So here, they allowed no dissent or opposition. President allowed no dissent or opposition. President cannot think there could be a dissatisfaction among the people. There will be opposition among the parliament against him. A judicial culture and interdependence of judiciary was yet to be established independence in most of these countries. Judiciary is not very powerful. Here in India, judiciary is very powerful. Independent judicial system is there. Now these days, Supreme Court, High Court, they are calling, having a strong words against the central government. So our judicial system is very independent. They are autonomous. But in Russia, president is very powerful. According to him, he has no opposition. At present, he has no opposition. Rest by tomorrow. Tomorrow again, I will try to do my best as I did. But I'm sorry there was a net problem. See you tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice time. Thank you.